It's not just knowledge about construction and not just knowledge on how to use a software program to put an estimate together. You have to strategize the claim process. I gotta fight for this little guy because this little guy behind me doesn't seem to have a voice. They've tried doing this on their own, they're getting nowhere. They're up against, billion, trillion-dollar companies. We want to be as amicable in the process as possible to get the insured indemnified as fast as we can.
It always pays off when we actually get the final report, the final estimate, because the value of that claim has gone up. And now it gives the homeowner options. Now they don't have to get an SBA loan. Now they don't have to tap into retirement. They can actually get it done with their insurance proceeds.
Can you kind of walk me through just in general what you guys do maybe in 3 steps?
So basically, from intake, we sit with you, whether it's in person or on the phone, and we try to understand, how has the claim process been going so far? How has your adjuster been interacting with you? What things have been promised? What things have come out in black and white? Do you have those estimates? Do you have those documents? And then we always do a policy review, because the last thing we want to do is start picking fights or whatever, or putting things into estimates that really there's no coverage for. We want to be, follow the policy provisions. I'd joke and say that's the unsexiest part about our job. Is to sit there and read policy. But that's kind of like our Bible. That is the only legally binding document between you and a carrier. So we go over that and we say, okay, here's how we're reading your policy, here's the coverages you have. We go through all of that with the homeowner, and then we explain the claims process. This is not going to be gone in 2 weeks, not even 30 days. We shoot for 30 days, because under most state statutes, it's 30 days to settle the claim. So yes, that's what we push and try hard for. Under catastrophic events, a lot of times state commissioners will extend that 30 days to 60 to give the carriers more time to handle the volume, because the volume is, especially after a Cat 4, the volume is crazy. We thought Lake Charles was, crazy with its volume, and then it hits, New Orleans this year. The population density alone of what, Hurricane Ida struck. So we tell the insured, hey, by law, they don't technically have to settle this before these statute deadlines. So it could drag out that far. So we try to get that all explained up front. Then we come out with all of our tools. We will, a lot of times you'll have, especially when it comes to hurricanes, people don't realize that even if your house gets flooded with water seeps up your drywall. Well, you can't always see it. It's not like your paint's always gonna bubble. It's not like you're gonna see water lines and stains all the time. So we actually bring out moisture readers and infrared cameras. We use this not to detect moisture, because it doesn't detect moisture. All this does is it shows us temperatures across the surface. And so this is one solid surface. It should be fairly uniform in temperature. If it's not, the infrared will pick up what we call anomalies or differences. And so then we have to further investigate, what could that be? So we use things to identify what we can't see. Carriers aren't doing that. So they're not writing to replace, and then mold grows, and then people get sick, and all of these things. So that's our bread and butter right there, is we know what to look for, and we bring all the tools with us. And then if we're not experts in something, we bring experts with us. There are window scientists, believe it or not, that look at the window tension and pressure within the window frame to see whether it's compromised, because it could pop at any given moment, all because the wind of a hurricane pushed on it just slightly and bent the frame. But you wouldn't think about those things, but those experts think about that kind of stuff, and that's who we typically reach out to and add to our claims and add to the, that fresh set of eyes, that expert set of eyes. So we kind of have like this, I'm gonna date myself here, the Rolodex. We have a Rolodex of experts that we can reach out to depending on what the claim may need. We bring those. That helps us validate not just the findings, but also the method of repair and that final estimate to get that dollar amount to where it should be for the insured. And it's not just willy-nilly. Everything is very methodical and almost scientific. It's kind of like, going through a crime scene. You document everything, because the other thing is, at any given time, we could be called up to stand before a judge and jury. And we want to be able to say, yes, I got my certification to use this tool. Yes, these were my findings, etc. So then there's that part, the field part, the estimating part. But then the third step, typically the final, is the desk adjusting side. That's where that adjuster's got to be on the phone with clients, that adjuster's got to be on the phone with the carriers. Where is this estimate? Where have you made your final decision? If you haven't made your final decision, what do you perceive as your next step? Is this going to appraisal? Is this going to litigation? Basically giving the insurance company that chance to make their final decision. And then from there, we make recommendations to homeowners on what to do next, and just kind of arm them so that they can make their decision, because we don't make them, we don't make decisions for them. So I would say that's pretty much, in a nutshell, the three major muscle movements is that intake part, where we get to know the client and understand their story. What happened to this structure and what has been happening since then, because that gives us a big picture. And then, that middle part is that field part, that assessment, the estimate, proof of loss package is what we call it. And then that final part was the desk adjusting. What's going on? What are we doing here? It's the strategy.
The adjusters a lot of times have a chip on their shoulder. Most of the time it's because we slow them down. I slow them down. I can't speak on behalf of all public adjusters, but me, I slow the process down. When I was on that side, yes, you get paid per file, so you want to try to get as many done as possible in that day. So when they meet me, I'm slowing it down. Look, I don't care if you got 6 appointments today. This is my number one client, and I'm here for them. They're paying me to be here, so we're going to make sure that we see everything. And so if I see them running past, I'm like, hey, time out. Mr. Adjuster, did you see that? Mr. Adjuster, did you see that? And if they're a reasonable person, they'll say, oh, no, I appreciate you pointing that out to me. But sometimes they get very frustrated, because for them, time is money. But for me, time is money for my client. The longer I take, the slower I make the process, the more we can identify damage. I've been to this house 3 times. I've already saw more damage on this 3rd time than the first 2 times. So if you have an adjuster and he's planned out 30 minutes to be here, is he going to miss something? Absolutely. I've been here 3 times and I've missed something every single time. A lot of these adjusters, they're away from their families. They want to hurry up and get their claim load done so they can go home. I understand that. I understand that they're stressed out. They're under a lot of pressure. But at the end of the day, we have somebody here who they need to get their house fixed. This is their biggest investment. It's a long-term investment for 30 years that they got multi-generational sometimes. So they need to make sure that this is done, because once the statute of limitations has run, there's no more supplementing. It's over with. So we have a limited amount of time to make sure that we do it right, and we capture all the damages. It always pays off when we actually get the final report, the final estimate, because the value of that claim has gone up. And now it gives the homeowner options to. Now they don't have to get an SBA loan. Now they don't have to tap into retirement. They can actually get it done with their insurance proceeds.